I mean, if you were getting 5 sales calls a week or aiming at 5 sales calls a week every week, you'd have more than enough clients very quickly, right? You'd probably fill up your mastermind inside a month, and you'd have plenty of spots filled consistently. So, what do you think is the biggest thing holding you back, Catherine and Janine specifically, from getting those booked, right? Because we can have a goal, which is to fill our mastermind, but if we don't have the right projections and taking the right actions on a consistent basis, we can't imagine hitting that goal. And everything else is a distraction at that point, right? I always talk about the four things are, getting really clear on the offer, booking market research calls, booking sales calls, and enrolling clients. If you're not doing those four things, you're probably squirreled off in a different direction, which is not really moving you towards your goals. And it's really easy to do, right? We're always bombarded by a million things we could be doing. But when we really focus and get it down to essentials, those are the four things that make the most difference, that lead to all the things you're saying you want, right? Which is impact and income. So that would be what I would, if you're ever not hitting your goals or you're ever, stressed about money, is to refocus on those four things.
Can you say those four things again?
Yeah. So I would say, working on your offer, always adding more value and innovating the way you market it and the way you deliver it. So that's thing one. Thing two would be booking market research calls, making sure you're really talking to people and getting new ideas to do step one. And also booking sales calls, which is, that kind of goes hand in hand. It's a less pushy, less direct way to kind of bring people into the fold who are interested and then transition them in integrity with our scripts to a sales call. Finally, performing those sales calls and finally enrolling clients. So if you're doing those four things, your mastermind will naturally grow. And then obviously you're going to show up and deliver value and have all the experts on the back end. That's, a little bit separate, but those four things are what really help you hit those goals. I think I have like graphics somewhere in the course with my face on it that just says, these are the four things you should focus on. And if it helps, you can print that out and put it on your wall, and I'll be staring at you 24/7 until you actually do it. Some people that helps, some people that doesn't. But I found that
I think it's
anytime you're not moving clearly, anytime there's not like, I'm hitting all my goals, you got to refocus on the things that matter most.
Yeah, I think we're at that. It's we've got lots of people attending and lots of people interested.
Okay.
But what the missing link is, it needs to be, I think it's the offer. It's like making it valuable enough for them to want to hand over.
Okay, so you're having sales conversations or you're not? Because I'm missing a piece here. Because you're saying, I'm going to have 5 this week, but then I have 1, and this has happened a few times. So I want to make sure that we're actually having sales conversations. Because it might not be the offer. It might not be the volume's too low for the offer to really do its job. How many offers have you made since this all began?
What, since the new one with the women travel leaders?
Yes. Yeah.
Probably haven't made any actual offers.
That's right.
In terms of asking for
So
money.
therefore, if you've been up to the bat 0 times, that means you haven't bunted, you haven't walked, you haven't hit a single, a double, a triple, or a home run, or a grand slam. You haven't hit anything because you haven't swung the bat. Sorry to use an American baseball terminology, but you get the idea.
Yeah. What about you, Janine? I mean, because you've spoken to quite a few more people, but I'd say they're probably more like
to deflect. So that's where it's at now that Catherine and I are together, and we're both, salespeople. I feel like the biggest stumbling block for us up until now has been clarity around how to make it into something. But then, per your idea, Brad, which Catherine had brought forward around doing the calls and just asking people, you were right that really, every time I had a call and I
get a little clearer, right? It's great. And this never stops, by the way. There's no magical land where the offer's perfect and it never has to be updated again. This is an ongoing process as time goes on.
So that was really great. I did agree that was a good, useful exercise that will continue. I'm not committing to a lot right now personally, because I'm packing up my entire house right now. And this is a lot for me to emotionally balance, and I can't overextend myself.
Okay.
But when I'm ready, when I get down to Mexico and reposition, I'm moving, it's an international move, then I will aggressively get after it.
I love it. Yeah, that's the key to all of this, right? Is at least in that initial phase, until you have those 5, 10, 15 people you want to start off, those are the 4 things that matter. If you're not doing those 4 things, you're not going to hit those goals. But if you are doing those 4 things, you will hit those goals. It's just a matter of putting in the reps at that point. And then you have that cash, you have those people, you can make it better and better, really nail it so that you can come back with clarity and scale it. Okay, this has to tweak. This worked really well. Do more of that. And just don't do what I do, which I learn something that works and then I don't consistently execute it. That's the other piece. Even if it's not you executing in the future, let's say you build a big team, you have systems in place, make sure those systems are working so that people are incentivized to continue to take those actions over time.
Yeah, I think it's just about maybe like having, how many calls would you say to get like, obviously it depends on how good you are at conversion, but
oh yeah, there's a lot of factors, right? There's how qualified they are,
yeah.
how interested they are, how excited they are, how good of a salesperson you are. But really, if you have a great offer and you're talking to the right person, all you have to do is just not screw up, right? It's not about being some incredible salesperson where you're convinced, like the right offer will convince the right person if it's really tailored for what they need. That's like 80% of the work there. Like I could take, like the Apple iPhone, I don't need to go and bang on people's doors to get them to buy the Apple iPhone. They're just going to find it and buy it if they want it, right? There's enough of a known and quantity in the marketplace where people want Apple iPhones. I don't have to convince somebody. They're either an iPhone person or they're an Android person. Everybody's buying a smartphone at some stage, So the right offer is really key to all that. And you get to the right offer by doing the right kind of market research with the right kind of people and getting consistently clearer on that and going deeper with that niche. I feel like every niche could be $1 million niche. How good is your offer? How good could it be? How could you add more value?
Yeah, I think that's the key for us, is about tailoring for what they need, and then we'll be able to.
Yeah, and if you've talked to these people for a long time and you're still just you're coming up sucking up wind, like it might be time to shift, because you desiring to serve people does not mean they desire to be served.
I don't think that's true, Brad. I think that we just needed to decide, or I should say for me to decide. I mean, these people are people who are close to us.
Great.
They're not strangers. They're people who we already have this massive community. So I think Catherine and I really just within the last, at least from my perspective, Catherine was kind of going on her own thing before, have just kind of come to this conclusion within the last couple of days. So I think it actually is on track. I don't think any more pushing needs to happen there.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, awesome. So go make it rain, and that's that. when you're ready, of course. I know you got extenuating circumstances.
But I think we're both motivated, and I think we both know and appreciate what needs to happen next. But yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
Do you both feel supported at this moment?
Yes.
Okay, great.